108
So I
players,
think
So,
it's
yeah,
bug abuse.
and everybody
If you're
has
killing
money.
people in
No,
spawn, it'd be bug abuse.
For example,
I
I have
suppose,
like
or it's
2
just
million
funny.
bucks, and you think that'd be a lot of money, but in DarkRP it's not. There's actually a social class. There's a wealthy class and a poor class, and with the player 107 players, sometimes the mayor will tax us, and the mayor actually gets kind of a good amount of money, even though the taxes are ridiculously tiny percentages. And I'd like to talk about it. So we had 112 players last night, and I was just fucking around, and sometimes the mayor will tax us. And the mayor taxes us a comically small amount of money. And for example, we got 0.05% taxed, all 112 players of us online, right? And so I realized we got 491,243 of 112 players with only a 0.005% tax. That is a ridiculously tiny amount of money, and if only taxes were like that in real life. But here's something that I would like to mention. Well, we have almost $500,000 from 112 players with that tiny of a tax. So I did some math. Let's say that elites had 900 million, and there were 5 of them. So by 0.05%, it's 45,000 times 5, 225,000 in taxes. With the high rollers, that's 250 million, which is 12,500 times 10, 125,000. The wealthy, let's say they have 100 million each. That'd be 12,500 in taxes, and times that by 10. And then mid tier, 10 million, 500 times 30 is at 15,000. Lower tier, 1 million. I'm the lower tier. I was like in the mid tier, but I started losing money because I was paying for emotes, and that's just 50 bucks, which is super cheap. So 50 times 40 players is 2,000. Low end, like new players, you know, the real poor ones, 10 bucks, which is 120. You add all of that up, and you get 367,120, and that doesn't go up to 500,000. That means that the high rollers and the elites have even more money than what I guess. As you can see, I guessed each of the elite players, which is only 5 of them, probably admins who give themselves money for free, that probably have over $1 billion, and it's quite a few of them that probably do. And then the high rollers probably have more than 250 million, and that's what adds up the 100,000 difference in taxes. It's kind of creepy because technically the lower tier and low end and perhaps mid class, mid tier probably don't have that much money. We make very little impact on, you know, taxes. So it's the rich who get taxed like insane, and they're the ones that give the government the most money. That's why I created a wealth distribution chart, a pie chart, and I wanted to show that the elites and the high rollers, pretty much the very rich in the server, are the ones who give the most taxes. And that's probably why the government likes the rich so much, is because they're the ones that technically give the government the most amount of money. And based off this pie chart, it's about a quarter of the poor who make up the taxes that goes back to the government, because the poor can't really give that much money. So technically it's almost like it's the elites and the high rollers that run the server, or at least run the government, help the government stay running. It's crazy to think that the population is massive if you had a pie chart, and the poor, but when it comes to taxes, now it's the poor who have basically almost 0% impact on the economy of the government. And the craziest thing that I picked up from this was that it's just like this in the US economy. You know, I looked up a pie chart, and as you can see right here, it looks the exact same. The top 1% control 30% of the economy, and the next 9%, which is the very wealthy as well, control about 40%, which is a lot of the tax money that goes to the government, while the quarter is like the middle class in the bottom, which is 30%, much smaller percent. And as you can see, it's the exact same looking graph. It's very familiar, and I'll show you here in a moment. So it's just super crazy how, as you see, they both are put together, and if you look at the rich and you look at the poor, it looks extremely familiar. It looks like about a quarter of the graph for both is distributed during tax season within the poor. Every little bit counts, of course, but you could tell like the impact it makes is virtually nothing. Um, and I just find that super crazy. I have 2,326,840 in that game, right? So I'm like low tier. And when you tax 0.05%, I only contributed $116. So let's 491,000, right? That's how much we got back. Divided by 116, or let's do 116 divided by 410,000 or 490,000. That's like 0.02% impact that I had out of 112 players. So to think that the server, when you divide about 500,000 by 100 by 0.005, you get like $9 billion in wealth. So the server has 9 billion with 112 players, and that's a lot of money combined together. And as you can tell, that 9 billion did not come from the poor players. It didn't even come from the middle class players. It came from the elite and the very wealthy players. And it's just like real life. I think stuff like that is really cool to notice. And I'm glad I got to share this math with you. And hopefully it can help you reflect a little bit on real life and how money works.